What is up, fellow sickos? I am Dan Valley coming at you with a brief intro. While I was doing our 30-team look-ahead series, if you haven't checked those out, go bounce around. We talk about the big picture, so it's not something you just need to junk because the NBA regular season has started now. We talked to an expert who covers each and every team. We went an hour plus on most of them. I asked all of them for one additional prediction for their team at the end of each podcast. If you subscribe to our audio feed, you got most of them. If you were watching on YouTube, I included a few as teasers, but I compiled them together just so you could get a sense of what were they predicting, maybe what were they watching for leading into the season. It will go in alphabetical order. It was really interesting to hear what some of them said. Some of them were super quick about it. Others dug a little bit deeper into it. I think you will enjoy the discussions or the predictions that they made. And if you have not already, this is a very quick reminder, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple. Leave ratings and reviews for audio. The written reviews go a long way. They help people find us. Hype points, like, comment on every video really help us continue to build the community over here at Hardwood Knocks. But that's enough out of me. Let's get to expert predictions from every NBA team from the people that actually cover them on a day-to-day basis. Lauren, can I get one additional prediction about the Hawks for this coming season from you? It could be whatever you want.
Whew. Prediction. Like, do you mean like awards?
It could be an award. It could be a player is breaking out. A player gets squeezed out of the rotation. It could be a trade. It could be anything.
A trade. It's hard for me to predict a trade just yet because I haven't seen how everything looks. So I'm going to go with, and maybe this is low-hanging fruit, but I'm going to pencil in Jalen for most improved.
If they get back-to-back most improved players, that would be insane.
I'm going to pencil Jalen in for most improved just because he was in the conversation early. So that means I'm predicting Jalen's going to have a healthy year. Knock on wood.
That might be the spicier prediction at this point. He's already been in the most improved player discussion twice.
Knock on wood. Jalen, please be healthy.
I wonder if he's turned the corner too much now to where everyone's like, well, he was supposed to win that award last year and just wasn't healthy enough. And so I think like he was in the All-Star mix last year. If he's healthy enough, like him getting into the All-Star game like that, especially if the Hawks are good and now more people are watching the Hawks, that might be because they don't have, maybe if Kristaps has an insane season, but aside from like Trey, they don't have like that. It's Jalen is the obvious All-Star candidates, I would think. Maybe Dyson, but that's a little too, I think that's too deep cut.
Yeah, I feel like Dyson might be a slight reach solely because I just don't know how his offense turns the corner yet. Yeah. So, yeah, I would probably say Jalen is probably their second guy who's like their banked in, not banked in, but just like clear cut front runner for somebody who could be voted as an all-star.
If he does that on the contract he's on, because his contract already looks good, but like once you tie the all-star, like let's say he does win most improved player because he's healthy, that's when it really encapsulates like how much of a bargain that contract becomes.
I'm curious to see though too. I think my big prediction is that Onyeka has a really big year. One, he's going to be competing, internally with Kristaps. He's a guy that's sort of been adding that three-point shot consistently over the last couple of years. And so I feel like he could be really good, especially now that defenses know that he has that in his bag to the point. I mean, granted, they still don't take it as seriously as I think that they should, but I think he's somebody that they might start looking at as not necessarily a threat, but somebody that they should pay attention to in terms of if he's on the perimeter.
Who shoots a higher percentage from three this year, Okongwu or Jalen Johnson?
Oh, Okongwu.
Wow, I love that one. I love it. I love it.
Just solely, I say that because, as they say, right, the cliche is shoot or shoot, and I just think that Onyeka has shown over the last couple of years a more consistent willingness to take those shots. Jalen will sometimes get the ball in the perimeter, and I don't know if it's just in the heat of the speed of the game, you kind of second guess how much space you have to try and let that shot go. and he'll pump fake and then drive to the basket. Whereas Onyeka will just like, well, I'm on the perimeter, I'm gonna shoot it. So I think I'm gonna go with Okongwu.
To be fair, the quality of like Okongwu's threes will just be better and easier. That he's getting his teed up, whereas Jalen Johnson will have to take more contested ones. But if that happens, that something's gone wrong with Jalen Johnson or right with Okongwu.
I'm sticking with my answer.
Can I get one additional Celtics prediction for you from this season? It could be whatever you want it to be.
Ooh. Let's see.
You want to go Peyton Pritchard for the All-Star team? You said your co-host Noah. Make your co-host Noah happy.
I can't go that far with him. I guess I'll join you on Derek Island and say he'll be in that conversation and might even get there. I could see it for sure.
Is it so much an island as a planet?
Yeah. No, I don't think there's anyone who doesn't like Derek White. Derek White All-Star Island is what I should have called it.
I fave that prediction. I think that's a good one.
Before we let you go, one other Nets prediction can be anything you want.
Yegor makes second team All-Rookie.
I could see it.
I mean, they better get an all-rookie guy with having drafted 5 of them in the first round.
And what percentage of the first round do they have in play? They better.
They do have 20% of the 17% of the first round in play.
Great odds.
Yeah, I don't know. He's 6'9". He'll walk into some like 13, 5, and 6 games. If he makes a couple threes and like gets fouled while they're in the bonus.
Look, if he stays healthy, like if that plantar fascia stuff doesn't linger, I'm all aboard. I think he's going to be really good. Maybe not, I don't know if he's going to be a star, but I think he's going to be a really, really good NBA player.
Grant, here's the quote, by the way. I almost forgot. He said this on draft night. He said, "Passing is something that I was always doing, and this is why. I believe in the game of basketball as a creative place. It's an art, right? And I want to play beautiful. I want to play pretty, and I want to play efficient. There's never a sacrifice of myself for the team or something like that. It's just about making the right decision." He's a poet.
Done. Rookie of the year. Like, no, it's over. I'm
sorry, Cooper.
This is the moment. Like, I'm in the bag for him forever now.
Me too.
That's incredible.
He's great. You gotta, I could find these other quotes from him. He's already been a machine. And it was funny because at Media Day, after a summer of these quotes about like, I know what I have to get better at. Like, I know I'm not a finished product. I have to live in the gym, this, that. And these like long, beautiful spiels about basketball. He was for the first time like visibly annoyed because we asked like 10 questions. They were like, so like your injury, can you tell us about it? And he was like, it's not a big deal. And we're like, okay, but like, what are you doing? Are you up to on-court activities? And he was like, I don't know. I'm doing what the doctor says. I was like, yeah, man, it's not going to
broke him already.
It's not going to be all artistic.
Yeah. Like, well, the injury to the body doesn't affect the soul, and my soul is purified by skip passes.
Someone was in my comments and said, art is nothing without constraints. That is why I have forsworn learning how to dribble.
That's incredible.
I know. Oh, well, I appreciate you guys having me on. The Nets are fascinating, and I hope to more than just me.
We're on to the Charlotte Hornets. Could I get one other prediction for you for this team?
Okay.
It could be whatever you want.
Liam McNeely, second rookie all rookie second team at minimum.
They're really going to find playing time for these guys despite having such a jumbled roster.
I think I am a believer in Liam McNeely. Again, I'm very much a believer in Liam McNeely. I think he's one of those guys that if you build something sustainable, you have to hit on those kind of guys in the 20s and everything else like that. We've seen it. Again, you mentioned Desmond Bane, Draymond Green, the obvious answer. But there are a lot of these guys that if you hit on late, like I think that you can end up changing your entire trajectory. And I think he was criminally underdrafted.
I like that one. That's a really good one. I'm going to be tracking this team's minutes pattern more than I kind of thought coming in here. There's just so many dudes. That's what I said at the top of this.
They have a ton of dudes. They have a ton of very interesting dudes, and it's just about figuring out where this is. Like, I don't want to say Khan's going to be I think Khan has a shot at rookie all-first team, but I also think there's a chance that he ends up just being a really solid bench contributor this year, and he ends up popping in the following year. But I also wonder, like, there's a lot of this, like you said, it's a roster jumble, and I think a lot of this is going to end up having to get clear. That Polaroid's going to end up having to get clear probably in October, and we'll find out probably first 2 weeks of the season exactly what this is.
Jason, can I get one more Bulls prediction from you for this coming season, please?
What, like a general one?
It could be whatever you want.
Anything.
It could be about Julian Phillips.
All right.
Prediction about whatever you want.
Let's see here. Oh, God. I know I was talking with a friend about most improved. Do I want to throw out like a modest Buzelis most improved like case out there that I'm not going to say he's going to win it. I'll say that
you know who the last second-year player was to win it?
Who?
I think it was Monte Ellis, if I'm not
Was
mistaken. I think. I'm going to double-check that now, but I'm pretty sure it was him.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to win it. I think that'd be a huge leap, but like I could see him maybe working his way into some conversations for it at the very least. That's a lame prediction because I'm not saying like something that's definitely going to happen. Like I wish I can't really predict that like Giddey or Kobe's going to be an all-star because I don't really believe that at all.
Noah Sengay, all-rookie.
Noah Sengay, all-rookie. Like I don't think he's going to play enough. Yeah, so my lame prediction is that Modest will work his way into some most improved conversations.
It was Monte Ellis was the last second-year player to win most improved. So that ballot goes 3 deep. If he finishes like in the top 3, that's a pretty big deal.
That would be pretty sick. Again, do I think it's going to happen? Maybe.
I predicted it. So
I just predicted he'll at least be in the conversation. So I guess top 3. Am I saying that? Not really.
Top 5. You want to put a number
I'll put it on the table. Yeah. He'll finish 3rd in most improved voting. Why not?
We are on to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Can I get one other prediction from you for next season about this team?
Ooh. That's tough. I think
Tyrese Proctor, Rookie of the Year, or
no. I think that this is it kind of has to be Mobley related, right? Like it's
be whatever you want.
I know it can be anything I want. I just I want to still, this is my rookie, right? Like we came up, we saw Mobley develop with the Cavs. I always have the temptation to handle him with kid gloves because bigs develop at a different rate. I've never tried to jump up as much as I loved him as a prospect. I always try to manage my expectations. But I think this is the year. I think this is the year where he just, I know he was an all-star. I know he's all NBA. I know he won Defensive Player of the Year. I think this is the year where, he kind of goes from that Rudy Gobert resentful, we have to respect him from fans to, oh yeah, that guy's like a dude. Like he's someone that's a nightmare to play against. We have to think about him. We have to game plan against him. And even when we do that, he makes the right play every single time. And he kills us, and he's a problem. I think Evan Mobley is going to make a leap next season, and he's going to be in that, top 15 player consensus. I want to say top 10, but let's just keep it at top 15. Let's protect my guy here a little bit. But I think it's going to be a consensus opinion that Evan Mobley's a top 15 player next year.
That's a good one. I had him 5th on my MVP ballot this year. So can't make a bold Evan Mobley prediction. But if you get to a point where defenses have to game plan against him every game and he's still making the right decision, then top 10 is that's the spot. He's inside there as a consensus.
Gobert is an example. He made such an impact and got a lot of accolades with what he does on the defensive end. Mobley is that level of defender, but he also averages 22, 11, and 3. And can create his own buckets.
And this guy's threes.
Yeah, all I need is, if I was working with him, which I never should because I'm not qualified to, but I think I'd kind of Clockwork Orange him and just have him watch Minnesota KG and Toronto Chris Bosh and just be steal some stuff from this. I want to see that mid-range game. I want to see, the jab steps. Let's get that into the arsenal here. And I think the one thing, I don't know how much Evan Mobley summer workouts and run videos that you watch. But
0.
There is a common element of his most fun ones over the last couple of years, and it's because he's wearing a do-rag. Evan Mobley is untucked Kyrie. We need to petition the NBA to allow him to do this because there's just a different level of physicality he plays with it, and that needs to be part of the equation here.
Is he the new LeBron do-rag cigarette meme? Like, predict that needs to have that
100%.
I'm so unplugged, I might not know.
Not yet, but again, history doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. And I think, Darius or Kyrie missing the start of the season, Mobley getting that LeBron attitude, it's all part of the equation here.
Okay, Kirk, finally, could I get one additional prediction from you about this Mavericks season? You could take it wherever you want.
Oh, man. I did a short video about how I desperately need Cooper Flagg to shave his goatee because I think it's it's an act of violence against facial hair. And I like facial hair. It's on my face. But it's just like he's got this goatee right here. And it's because he's 18 and he can't grow this. And he's either going to grow like a full thing or it's just because when you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Like he looks like he's in one of those 90s movies, like the Ben Affleck ones where it's really bad. So my prediction is that at some point he goes full baby face, and I think that's a much better look. Because the Mavericks they have some weird looking dudes. Like they have two or three guys who wear undershirts, which is an affront to the basketball gods. Like we can't be doing this in 2025, 26. So it's my take, if this is a take, is that the Mavericks are not only going to be aesthetically unpleasing in terms of playing this double big basketball, they also have just this aesthetic unpleasing look about them. So there we go. How's that?
So you're manifesting it. I'm looking at a picture right now of him in the draft combine where it looks like he was completely clean shaven and he looks like he's 12. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the baby face look, if you're going for the 12-year-old look, seems like he could pull it off.
I mean, it's so funny. It's like I'm 18 now. My dad can't tell me what to do. Facial hair. It's great. It's horrible. I love it. And I did a video about it, and all these people are like, "This is what you're caring about?" I'm like, "Yes, this is what I'm caring about in August. I have nothing else to do."
You know what? You shine a spotlight on the stuff that matters. I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, the undershirts are a whole different deal. Because remember when Luka wore an undershirt, it was like, well, it's because he's fat, and he doesn't want people to see that he's fat. And AD and Flag both wear them. It's like, why do you guys wear them? Like, you remember the sleeve jerseys that we had for a season? It's not a look.
Those are, and it's because like we have all those iconic images because the Cavs won the title in them. Oh, just gross. Could I get one additional Nuggets prediction from you, Adam, for this coming season? It could be whatever you want.
I've given you a lot of ones, some of my takes about Peyton Watson being good and this or that. I think it'll be Jokic's best defensive season. I kind of am betting on, if I want to get spicy, I might predict here. I'm going to make a couple predictions on Jokic. I think he's going to have the lowest per game averages, probably in points, rebounds, and assists that he's had in the last 4 years, probably in every category. So if you go down, that might be like 24.5 points per game, 11 rebounds, and maybe 8 assists. That's still a great stat line, but lower in every mark than before. I think he's going to finish third or fourth in MVP voting because of it for some weird reason. But I predict he will have his most efficient season yet, which is funny because he's had some of the most efficient seasons ever. And I would not be surprised if he was at around 24 points per game on 70% true shooting or effective field goal percentage. And it's going to be, I also predict, I was looking at this, and Daniel Gafford last year, he had like 39 straight made 2-point field goals. I don't think he's going to beat that because they're all dunks. I think Yoke might have 2 or 3 perfect games in a row this year where he has like, Yoke was 8 for 8. Next night he was 7 for 7. And then he starts a game 6 for 6 before missing a 3.
What is the logic behind you thinking that, aside from, obviously I get the lower counting stats if you think especially he'll play fewer minutes, but just the efficiency stuff?
I think Jokic can make every shot he wants to a certain degree. And then he has to like strain himself to make the other ones, right? So, and I think that he only strains himself when there's no other options available. I think the Nuggets aren't going to struggle to get open shots. So I don't think they'll find a lot of late clock, soundboard shuffles. Okay, I got to really drive into the defense here and go up over 2 guys. I think he'll be able to just kind of pick his spots this year and say, yeah, I'm open under the rim, a little floater. Yep, that's my mid-range jumper. That's what I'm doing. And I just think he'll have a lot of nights where he only takes 7 shots, 8 shots. And there's just bound to be a game or 2 where he strings 2 of them together.
70 effective field goal percentage or true shooting percentage would be insane. I fave that. I like that one. Can I get one more prediction from you about this Pistons squad? Could be anything. You can take it wherever you want.
This is the tough thing. So let's level set expectations, right? You lose, you get the 6th seed, you avoid the play-in, you lose in the first round of the playoffs last season. For me, the goal this year should be for this team to win a first round playoff series. That should be the goal. You should look to advance in the playoffs. What makes that goal easier? A, staying out of the play-in, just like, not having to worry about any of the BS that can or can't happen in the play-in. B, getting home court. Getting home court matters if you're trying to win an actual playoff series. So to do that, you have to win in the regular season, and you have to win probably in the neighborhood of like 45 to 47 games in the regular season. To me, that should be what the Pistons shoot for. They should shoot for being like a 50-win team, land short of that, try and get the 4 seed, and win your first round home court series. That should be the goal this season. Do I think they do that? No, I don't think they do that. I think between the improvements that the Magic made this offseason from a roster perspective, between the wholesale revamp thing the Hawks have going on, the Hawks are really good, and looked I was not a Jalen Johnson person. He convinced me last year. They really missed him. Getting him back will be huge. And then obviously you've got you got Cleveland, you got New York, you got Milwaukee, who
Giannis, Turner, and dudes.
Yeah, I'm always reticent to count out Milwaukee ahead of the Pistons because the Pistons have just never been able to beat Giannis in any way, shape, or form. Even other teams can, but we can't. So it's easy for me to be all right, maybe that's the 4th seed and we get the 5th seed, and I hate that playoff matchup, right? But yeah, I would like for the Pistons to get into a spot where they're the 4th seed or higher. I don't think they get there, but for me, if I hope they prove me wrong. I hope I'm in a space where they prove me wrong.
I think for them, it's them maybe more so than any team in the Eastern Conference. Because Orlando pushed all its chips in. Progress isn't linear. And so if they end up winning 41 or 42 games, but you come away thinking Ron Holland shot really well from the floor, and we got more out of offense from Asar, and Jaden Ivey looked really good both with and without Cade Cunningham, and things just broke wrongly in the East, that still can count as progress. And I think that's probably what fans need to remember. But they're also in a spot where I don't know where I would put them in the standings exactly, but how many teams we're sitting here today, early September, would you be prepared to guarantee are going to be better than them in the East next season? It's probably 3.
Yeah, it's Cleveland, New York, and a possible.
Yeah, Orlando or Atlanta, maybe. Yeah. And then, I don't know what to feel about the Sixers. I'm never going to give them the benefit of the doubt at this point, but they're the mother of all wild cards.
Yeah, exactly. Sixers are really little, by the way, without Embiid. That's a lot of guards.
Okay. Mr. Grant Hughes of the Hardwood Knocks podcast and of Bleacher Report, can I get one more Warriors prediction from you for this coming season?
No, because I'm going to give you 2. One, I think they're more likely to win 60 games than be in the play-in. Just acknowledging the high and low ends of the spectrum for them. I think them hitting a stupid number of wins somehow is likelier than them being a 42, 43 win team.
If I told you that Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy Butler, and even Horford, let's say he only misses the back-to-backs, they all qualify for awards, 65 games.
Well, Pelton's got him at 56 with less than that. So I think, that's when you're in the mid to high 50s, right? And who knows? They're not going to win 60 games. It's just more likely than them being the 10 seed, I think, barring everybody gets hurt. The other one, Dan, Quentin Post is going to have a game where he makes 10 threes. What do you think about that? It's happened 70 times in NBA history. There's most of those are Steph and Clay. Not kidding, the majority, I think.
There's got to be a J.R. Smith one in there, right?
Probably. Dame has one. Zach LaVine has one. He's on par with those guys. So he's made 6. And I think there's going to be games where Horford doesn't play and Post has earned a bigger role. 10 feels sufficiently bold. I think he can make 10 threes in a game. 10 for...
How many minutes does he need to play to do it?
Not a lot, Dan.
Under 30?
He's gonna get a
Does he make 10 threes in under 30 minutes?
That would be incredible. We'll just throw aside all the ridiculous Clay like points in a certain number of minutes stats that are there. I think he can go 10 for 14 in a game. I think that has a 15% likelihood of actually happening. So I'm gonna predict it.
Mr. Salman Ali of Red Nation Hoops, could I get one non-win, non-seeding related prediction from you about this team for next season?
They're going to make the conference finals.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's not the expectation yet, but that's why you put this team together, is to put yourself in that position.
Yeah, I think they're going to make the conference finals, and I think I'm tempted to say somebody makes an All-NBA team, but I'm just so scared to make that prediction. So I'm going to say conference finals, because that basically implies that somebody is going to make an All-NBA team without saying it.
Who do you think is the most likely candidate aside from Kevin Durant, or do you even view him as the most likely candidate?
Well, I mean, somebody else. I think he is the most likely. I think somebody else makes an All-NBA team, right?
If I had to pick one that's not going to be Kevin Durant, I think it's Reed Shepherd. I'm just kidding. I think it's Alperen Sengun. I'm just kidding. I think it's out. Not yet. He's not going to make it playing 20 minutes a game or whatever. I think it's Alperen Sengun. I could see people making the case for Amen Thompson, but I don't really know who the options would be after those three if you're trying to come up with anybody else.
No, it's pretty much just Amen or Alperen. And I mean, like Reed, I need to see more before I make that kind of a prediction. But like,
he's not going to play the minutes threshold.
Yeah.
Hit it.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about long term. Like, I want to see more before I even put that kind of a ceiling on him. Like, I'm tempted to just leave it at like those two. As like, they will make all NBA. They have the potential to make all NBA teams in the future. And if they're making the conference finals, chances are one of them played at all NBA level. You know,
what's interesting is that because Amen Thompson will be in the all defense discussion, that gives him like a boost that Sengun won't have. And so that conversation really could hinge on, you mentioned this with some of the stuff you want to see from Sengun on offense. Like, how are they going to use him on offense with this new look roster? Because that is going to dictate, he defended incredibly well last year. That is never going to be something, it won't hurt his All-NBA case, but like it'll never make his All-NBA case. And like with Amen Thompson, you have the built-in argument of like that's one of the 10 best defenders in basketball. And so that's why I think the way that they deploy Sengun on offense with this roster is going to be like super important to that type of accolade for him.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we haven't really like everyone's initial reaction to the Kevin Durant trade was like, okay, this is the biggest threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's like ever since then, we've had like this cute stuff come in, right? It's like, okay, it's like some like cute doubt come in for Houston, or cute, not I wouldn't even say
Tari Eason, thinking that he's like the second
no,
on this team.
Not internal, external, right? Like I'm gonna sound like I've been sounding like such a homer this offseason. I got a comment on it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I do sound like that. But can you tell me I'm wrong, right? Can you tell me I'm wrong on my optimism on how good they're going to be next year, right? And it's like, I feel like saying that they're going to make the conference finals and saying that they're going to be the biggest threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder is a controversial take from where we started the offseason. Where we started the offseason, that was like that would have been the consensus. But as we've had time to let the offseason shower over us, it's like, now I think people will probably pick the field as like the biggest threat to the Thunder. Versus
well, statistically,
Houston.
That might, just because there are a lot of good teams.
Oh, I mean, pick a team from the field. Like I think more likely it's like.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm probably like give the slight edge to the Nuggets, but that's more about having maybe watched the Nuggets than look. The ceiling on the Rockets, I don't think this shouldn't be a debate, is winning the championship. That's how good this team is.
Yeah.
So I would say on a scale of you saying they're the biggest threat to the Thunder, if we were doing a spice scale, like that's maybe a 5. Like just because if it's not them, it's between them or the Nuggets. I guess you could feel some type of way about the Clippers, right? Or the Timberwolves, but I don't think that's super controversial. It'll be controversial among a few fan bases.
Yeah, and a lot of this is maybe I am listening to too many podcasts and I'm hearing way too much like about like I just feel like the energy that everyone had at the start of it feels very similar to 2018, right? Where like the Rockets traded for Chris Paul. It's like, okay, this is the threat to Golden State, right? And then Oklahoma City trades for Paul George. It's like, actually, like this is like the kind of cute everyone, the
everyone's kind of, surrounding like Oklahoma City is like, oh, they actually had the best offseason, and they're actually the biggest threat to the Golden State Warriors. And like people forgot what their instinctual reaction was at the beginning of the summer, which is like, yeah, it's the Rockets, right? So I feel like everyone's like, as time has passed from the Kevin Durant trade,
the problem is that then you have time to overthink it. It's like, even if I don't agree that they're the biggest threat to the Thunder, if you have them like 6th in the West or something like weird, that's just like, okay, you had too much time, you overthought this. If I just say, I think their floor is probably 3, but like their absolute floor is maybe 4 if you want to bake it in.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you though. Yeah. Like that's how good I think listen, I don't think it's crazy to say that Denver is the biggest threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't think it's crazy.
Jalen Pickett's that good. We're high on him. What's the problem?
No, listen, I love what the Thunder the Nuggets did this offseason. Right? I think there's a tier of teams that I think are at the same level, and it's OKC, I think Houston and Denver. Right? We had this discussion, right? I think Denver absolutely deserves to be in that conversation. But I think a lot of people are doing that in a kind of a cute story kind of a way, right? They're doing it
happy to be here type deal.
Well, not even a happy to be here type deal, where it's like, okay, now we're like we're doing this thing where we pretend like the best offseason wasn't the best offseason, or we pretend like what your instinct was at the beginning of the summer is like, you know what? Let's really think about it. Houston hasn't been there before. Kevin Durant's old. He shortens their window. What if he gets hurt? Blah, blah, blah. Dude, you can say these questions about every team in the NBA. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I feel like we're overthinking this. They're going to rack up regular season wins, and I think they're going to be the biggest threat to Oklahoma City Thunder. The Denver Nuggets have a case that I will listen to as well, which is why I have them in the same tier. But we're doing this thing where we're overthinking the Rockets, and my hope is that 20 games into the season, just like 20 games into the season in 2018, we were past that feeling of like that cute story feeling. I hope we're past that 20 games into the season when people actually see what they're going to be. I think they're going to like rail through teams.
Caitlin, and feel free to use this as another forum to talk about Johnny Furphy, but could I get one Pacers prediction from you for this coming season?
I don't think this is going to be super hot because this could go a number of ways, but I think that the starting lineup they start the season with won't be the starting lineup that they finish the season with. And that could be because they make a trade. That could be because they toggle centers. Could be because they look, in other places. Like, I think that Nembhard, Nesmith, and Siakam are pretty guaranteed, but I wouldn't be surprised if the other 2 spots get finagled or if they made a midseason trade that might lead them to start somebody else.
Got to clear the runway for Johnny Furphy. I get it. I totally understand it. Justin, could I get one more Clippers prediction from you for this coming season? You could take it whichever direction you want.
That's a tough one. It's hard to make a prediction kind of out of left field for me, because
it could be as unbold as you want it. I'm looking for something other than maybe not 53 wins, just anything from there.
I think at the end of the season, like, no matter what happens in the playoffs with them, I don't think this is a title team, but crazier happened. Whatever happens at the end of the season, at the end of this past season, a couple months ago when the season ended, the regular season was over, I wrote an article saying the Clippers were right. Like, a lot of people gave them crap for letting Paul George walk, which, to be fair though, Dan, was fair because it didn't look like they had the means to replace him. Now, obviously they did. They just did it in ways people didn't think. I think when we get to the end this year, even if they don't win the title, let's say they make the playoffs, losing hypothetically the second round, we might end up looking back and just being like, this team, I think this would be their 15th straight winning season if it happens.
Holy shit. I didn't even realize that. Wow.
Yeah, like, I genuinely think people are going to appreciate a decade and a half of winning, even without a title. Like, 15 straight years of winning seasons is crazy. And if they get there, I hope people appreciate it. And so my bold prediction is going to be that people will appreciate the fact that, like, you have this team who is just not rolling over and just being like, hey, it didn't go so well this era. You know what we're going to do? We're just going to punt and tank and see what happens. And I think there will be a greater appreciation for a team that just continually tries. Because I remember those Dallas Mavericks teams with Dirk. They could have pivoted and tanked, but they just kept year after year going until it finally worked. And I think that's the beauty of sports, is continually just picking yourself up and going, okay, we'll do it next year. We'll get them next year. Like the old lovable Cubs, right? Like, the lovable losers, the Chicago Cubs. But I remember what will always stick with me is post-game, Game 7 in Denver, in that locker room, and just seeing the look on Ivica Zubac's face. Ivica Zubac, God love him, he's the longest tenured active Clipper. He's been here for a lot of stuff. Most people wouldn't even think he is, but he is. And I just remember I saw how much it meant to him that they didn't win. And he just looked exasperated and just like, you could see how much it affected him. And that's what I keep going back to, is we tend to think of like, oh, that guy's got to go to a different team because they're not winning. Like, they're not winning the title, so he has to go find something. But then I looked at Zoo that night, and it kind of hit me that, like, this is a guy who's in here for the long haul. Like, this is what it means to him. It's not just, oh, okay, and just moving on. It's like, no, we should have won, and it's kind of shitty that we didn't, and I took it personally, and now I look back at that, I'm like, yeah, continually trying to win, because even if you end the season with that level of despair and like heartbreak, it's so much better than just 25 wins and, hey, maybe we'll get the ping pong ball to go our way, and then you find out Dallas gets Cooper Flag, and you're just like, okay, what was the point even, you know?
Well, that was part of Nico Harrison's plan. Didn't you hear, Justin?
Yeah, because that was the
vision now, right?
Yeah, the vision that left us all blind, because no one had the foresight to see that was a possibility. What, they have like a 1.8% chance? Like, get out of here. It's freaking ridiculous. That just makes me mad, because Dallas ended up getting Paige Beckers and Cooper Flag. And then they traded Micah Parsons because, of course, no one in Dallas can be happy. So, Cooper Flag, you got like 5 years, buddy. You'll be somewhere else.
Mr. Jabari Davis, iHeart podcast producer extraordinaire. Can I get one more prediction for the Lakers this coming season? It can be whatever you want.
Got you. Luka is going to win his first MVP, and DeAndre Ayton, he's not going to win it, but you know how these conversations go. He's going to be in the conversation for most improved. Whether that is a ridiculous statement or not, he will be. Because the conversation around him will be that much better.
Yeah. Does he have betting odds for that? Because
I got him at plus 40,000. I got him at plus 40,000.
He's going to get the Lakers 34 nationally televised games, right? So if he plays well in like a good amount of those, the voters will see it. And there's a chance that his numbers just explode. Would he be I'm trying to think of who's the last person that would have, he's kind of at this career pinnacle, shrinks down, and then comes back and wins most improved. I don't know if there's because normally the trajectory is it's the guy everyone wants to identify like the next star. It's never going to be okay, there it is.
Hold on. I'm going to bring up the list,
right.
But it's Julius Randle.
It's absolutely him. That's correct. Yep. I don't know. His pinnacle before that, though, was never Ayton level, right? Because there was a point where people thought he was a top 5 center. I don't think he ever was, but there was a point where people felt that.
His expectations weren't quite the same, but I would say in terms of effectiveness, in terms of like what they did out there, it was close enough to where he's probably the best or most likely. You could say Lauri Markkanen, when he finally got, even more of an opportunity, finally stayed healthy enough to win it in 2023. But Jew was probably the guy that fits the bill.
So there's precedent.
Yep.
Keith, before we let you go, could we get another Grizzlies prediction from you for this season? It can be whatever you want it to be.
John Conchar finally traded. John Conchar does not finish the year on the Grizzlies.
Spiciest prediction we've had yet, I think, throughout this entire process. That'll be a somber day in Memphis if he gets traded. No, like, will they use picks to get off his contract? Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, maybe they salaried up a player with picks and stretch a guy for the third straight year. Let's do it.
How many first rounders do you think it would take to get Marcus Smart back? Is my real question.
Under that new contract? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not great when you send away a contract with the 18th pick to salary dump it, and then the guy gives a buyout to the new team. The Wizards did witchcraft, with their cap management and like the way they unloaded money and got picks for it, and then those players left. Incredible work by the Wizards. Again, it's easier to do that stuff when you're not trying to be good.
Right.
But
yeah, I'm glad we circled back to praising shrewd financial decisions.
That's right. That's right.
This is really our brand around here.
Do you have time to give me one additional Heat prediction for this coming season?
Let's go. Anything?
Yeah, and it can be whatever you want.
The roster right now won't be the roster at the end of the year.
But are we talking like closing unit addition, or are they selling someone that we're not expecting? I hate selling people, but trading like an Andrew Wiggins to get back picks or something?
It was a little bit of a fake prediction because they're a couple $1 million over the luxury tax, so they're just going to get rid of a salary to get under. But it might just be waiving Precious Achiuwa, whose salary is non-guaranteed. But other than that, that's an easy one. I'll give you something better. I think that somebody on the Heat will finish on an All-NBA team.
Ooh. Is there more than two candidates for that? Because honestly, is Tyler Hero even going to qualify?
I think it'll be Bam.
He's an All-NBA caliber player, so I dig it. This can be whatever you want, but could I get Mr. Ty Windish of the Eurostep podcast one additional prediction for the Milwaukee Bucks this season?
Trying to think of where I want to go. Like, I don't think Giannis MVP is fun enough. I do think that's certainly in play, depending on how many games he plays, and I guess where they top out. I had a good one. I'll say they're going to be a top 5 defense and a top 10 offense.
Ooh, that's spicy. I like it.
Yeah, so they're probably somewhere probably like a floor then of like 7th or 8th in net, which is aggressive, but I think the West being so bunched will probably help them with that.
What's interesting when you say that is I find the top 10 offense a shakier proposition than the top 5 defense.
Yeah,
even though I think we could point to and say Orlando, Houston, OKC, there's 3 of the top 5 defenses right there, right? Yeah. So it should just be that that is the spicier end of that prediction, but I think until I see like just what they look like, with Giannis, but also like during some of the, you don't want Giannis playing 38 minutes a game. So what's going to happen during the, 10 to 14 minutes that he's off the floor per night or whatever it ends up being? I like that. That's a good spirit. I think this is in all of the look heads I've recorded so far. That's the spiciest one that we've gotten. I dig it.
And it's so database, not amorphous too. Someone can clearly laugh at me if they're like 20th and 18th of like, oh, remember when they're going to be top 10 and top 5? But I'm a believer in the Giannis teams. So,
and then you need to hit them back with when that person comes at you. You got to isolate what everybody does. Where it's like, hey, like there is this 27 game stretch from like December until February where they were the best offense in the NBA.
Portland in March, baby. Portland in March.
Jalen Green post All-Star break, also known as the best half thing.
My favorite is Cam Thomas. If you don't count the point guards on the Nets, assist numbers. Second.
One of my favorite clapbacks of all time. It's like, if you count the guys who aren't passers, I was the second best passer on the team.
I love that. I think more of us should be this positive about our own performance. Like at the company, if you don't count any of these guys, I'm so up there.
Call it confidence, call it arrogance, call it ignorance, whatever you want. I want it. I want that kind of self-belief. I don't care however you classify it. Finally, Mr. Kyle Teige of the Day More NBA podcast, can I get another prediction from you? You can take it in whatever direction you want, but related to this Wolves team next season.
Yeah. Oh man, I like the Terrence. You kind of talked me off the ledge. I won't go on a DraftKings and do a Terrence Stein Jr. most improved bet because he can't win it. I would say that there's a chance that they don't have the same loaded front court at the trade deadline that they have now. Like, I think Tim Connelly just constantly is trying to think one step ahead. And again, it was boring for a lot of fans because you like to go out and make those big moves, but they kept a lot of their guys, but they kept them on what I think, and you know better than I do, good, reasonable contracts. Naz Reid, Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert all make solid amount of money that is very easily tradable. It's not 40, 50 million. And if this thing does stutter a little bit and you're trying to continue to bite at this proverbial apple and you have this kid in Anthony Edwards, you're not going to sit around and wait for it to fail multiple times. You might try to get out in front of it before it fails. So I could see them, if it's, they're like you said, their floor is 6. If they are the 6th seed come early February, maybe they make a big splash, which would shock a lot of people. But Tim Connelly has shown you in like 3 years, he's made 2 of the biggest trades in NBA history. I think he's got another one coming.
Can I get one final Pelicans prediction from you, Schmidt? It can be for this coming season. It could be wherever you want to take it.
My final Pelicans prediction is Willie Green is fired before Christmas.
It seems like fait accompli almost. I feel like they've set him up to fail because of their expectations. And then I know you said he's been mandated to be there. I also feel like that's never a good recipe, is to install a new leadership regime and not give them say over the head coach, and you end up in these situations then where you're getting rid of him at like the quarter season or the 1/3 season mark.
Yeah, legitimately, I think it's all like financially driven.
Okay.
From ownerships. Like, I just think ownership is very much, oh wow, we had to get rid of Griff and these other executives, Swin. There's so much money that we got to pay because of this, and we're paying Joe a ton of money. Man, Joe's contract is crazy. They're paying Joe a ton of money, and so there's just like, well, if you get rid of Willie, then we have to go through another search, and then hire another guy that's going to potentially want more money than Willie wanted. Willie is one of the cheaper coaches in the NBA, and so I think it's just like, keep him around, and then if you got to fire him, we just slightly bump up the interim. And I legitimately, that's how I think they operate. Like, and I don't think I have been proven wrong, but we'll see.
Andrew Claudio of Knicks Film School. You answered the prediction question before we even, the additional prediction question before we even got into it. So what are you throwing off your chest?
This should come as to no surprise to anybody. I think the Knicks are going to the NBA Finals this year. I think now paths are different every season. This is a principle I personally believe in, Tibbs. You can't just say, hey, they made it to the conference finals last year, so the next step is the Pacers are gone because of Halliburton, and the Celtics are gone because of Tatum, so clearly the Knicks should be the one to go there, right? So I have no idea what Orlando could potentially be as a hindrance to that. Atlanta is actually a team that scares me because they can do the thing that the Knicks' biggest weakness is really well, and it's defending pick and rolls, especially if they get any hint of help from Porzingis. But I think they have enough, and there's enough guys there that are battle-tested that you play enough playoff games together, you know how to get through certain situations that a lot of these younger teams just don't. And when it comes to them versus Cleveland, I like our guys better than their guys. I just don't know how else to say it. I like the Knicks' ability to take advantage of the Cavs' weakness on the boards more so than their ability to take advantage of the Knicks' biggest weaknesses in the pick and roll. So I have them go to the finals. I have 55, I believe, is the number of wins that I predicted for this season or picked for this season. So I have them hitting the over. With the caveat, and this, I'll wait for the worry that could potentially come in a second. But that's my prediction for this season. They're going to the finals. They'll probably lose it, and then they'll reassess in the offseason.
What were you saving the worry for? That was, you answered the prediction question before we even, the additional prediction question before we even got into it. So what are you throwing up your chest?
The nightmare scenario, the absolute nightmare scenario for me, I mentioned the Hawks. Knicks win 60 games. It's the most fun any Knicks fan has had watching a team since 2 years ago, but now it's a 60-win team. It's not just this Tibbs team that we all fell in love with because they tried harder than everybody else, right? It's actually We're excited because they're winning every night. They're going on 10 and 11 game winning streaks. The offense is great. The vibes are immaculate. Brunson's a top 5 MVP candidate. 2 guys are all NBA. They sneak in with a third all-star. I don't know who it'll be. Probably Yabu after he's also an all-defense candidate.
All-defense first team.
Right. Deuce is...
They still did positions and be at the guard spot.
Right. Like, Deuce is winning the three-point contest. Like, and after seeing so much 5 out. And it's like, see, didn't need Tibbs. You know, we got rid of him. Then they get to the playoffs. They play the second round against the Hawks. And their biggest problem during the playoffs last year, and a team can just pick on Karl Anthony Towns, pick on Jalen Brunson. It's Trae Young getting downhill, doing whatever he wants against the Knicks. And like Mitch, because of his injury history, he is worn down come playoff time. Like a bad injury to Mitch happens. And Trae Young, who I wanted to just on the record, is 11 and 25 in his career against the Knicks, now actually gets to claim that he dominates the Knicks for his career. Like, I want to be clear, like 11 and 21, 11 and 25, whatever it is. I know he has 7 regular season wins against the Knicks in his career, but there's this one playoff series where Julius Randle and the house of cards that Knicks team was, like, collapsed, and now he gets to claim, like, he owns Madison Square Garden because of one playoff series and a in-season tournament game that, like, nobody cared about. Now he actually has something to claim over the Knicks, and it's that the year that they won 60 games, and this was supposed to be their year, he eliminated them in the second round. And that is my biggest worry, that it's a team like that that can take advantage of the Knicks' biggest weakness on defense, will exploit it for however many games in a playoff series. And then it's a round earlier than they got eliminated last year, which will bring the "so why'd you get rid of Tibbs" conversation all the way back. Yeah, so it's my nightmare, to be completely honest. It's a thing I've thought a lot about this offseason, that if there's a way this season goes catastrophically wrong, it's not even like they win 45 games and it's not that good. It's they're too good in the regular season to create any doubt, and then come playoff times, we don't even get the matchup against the Cavs.
So, to wrap this up, before I let you two go, can I get one other prediction about the Thunder for this coming season from each of you? We'll begin with the first timer. JD, what do you have for me?
Oh, wow. I'm going to go Chet Holmgren as an all-star. I think I'm
like
going
that.
there. I have to wear my...
It'd be weird if you didn't, Taylor.
Yeah.
If you were just like, you're going to like, you predict J-Dub making all NBA, and I was like, God, I hope not. What about the wallet?
Yeah.
His contract's going to go up.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't really like that, so I don't know.
I love Chet. I'm going to continue to believe in him.
That's good.
Well, if you don't believe in Chet, I'm just talking in general, it'd be weird to just say, like, oh, I'm out on Chet. Like, what would be the basis for that? I guess injuries, but that's not
Injuries.
really a strong one.
Yeah, no.
What about you, Taylor? What's your prediction?
So now that J-Dub's emerged into stardom, I can't say super stardom yet, but stardom on his way, I have to pick a new underdog. And we already have talked about him a couple times on the podcast so far. If you guys have listened to us over the past season or so, we're all really high on this player, but Cason Wallace is my guy. I think there's so much untapped potential. I think Cason Wallace is closing games in the playoffs come a year from now.
Hell yes. That's fun.
Wow, I love that prediction.
I couldn't say that earlier because I do think, like, I do stand by my question earlier when you specifically asked that question, Dan, that it is going to change. But I think when push comes to shove, I think at that point in the season, another year of development for Cason Wallace, I think he's going to be too important defensively and what he brings offensively as well to leave off the court.
God, this team just might be so insane.
Yeah.
Finally, Mr. Philip Rossman Reich of Orlando Magic Daily and the Locked On Magic podcast. Can I get one more Magic prediction from you for this season? It can be whatever you want.
I mean, the easy one is that the streak's going to end. That the Magic will get out of the bottom 10 in offensive rating for the first time since 2012. That I said that last year. I'm going to say it again this year. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. One more prediction from me. I think the Magic will have 2 All-Stars. I don't think that's maybe going out too far on a limb, but I think Paolo and Franz will both be All-Stars this year. I think Paolo will make All-NBA and get all the Supermax that comes with it. I think Desmond Bane's going to be pretty close. I don't know if he's going to get in, but it wouldn't shock me.
He's in the East now.
He's in the East. He's in the East without Tatum. Embiid's probably not going to get an All-Star.
Embiid was eliminated from awards voting the moment the schedule came out. The Sixers have 16 back-to-backs. He's done.
Yeah. That doesn't mean anything for All-Star game, though.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. I like that one.
I'll do another one. I'll do another one then. The Magic are going to be going to Vegas for the NBA Cup final.
All right. The NBA is going to love hearing you bring in the NBA Cup.
They've been a good NBA Cup team. They when they finished their game in the first year, they finished their group games against Boston. They had like a 20-point lead. Boston beat Chicago by 30-something with Joe Mazzulla telling Billy Donovan, like, I got to win this game by 30 to advance. Last year, they had a 32-point lead heading into New York. New York went up by 35 just to prove a point, and then Orlando went to Milwaukee and lost to the eventual NBA Cup champions. Don't ever say Damian Lillard didn't win anything in Milwaukee. Lost the eventual NBA Cup champions in the Bucks. I think the Magic are going to Vegas at the very least, and I think they'll be in the NBA Cup final.
Ryan Toporek, can I get one additional Sixers prediction from you for this coming season? It could be whatever you would like.
Yes. My prediction is that they flirt with trading the 2028 Clippers pick. Absolutely up the wall. Because there is no way you could pry that pick from my cold, dead hands until the NBA has ruled on aspiration one way or the other.
What would be a real, what is the bar for returning asset or player that would make you think about doing it right now, let's say? Or before you could say, we know the investigation is going to last through the All-Star break, so past the trade deadline. So what is the type of player? You're not trading it for like a Tari Eason.
No way.
Okay.
I love Tari. Don't get me wrong. I would love him on the Sixers, but especially now that he's set to get paid next summer. I mean, that's the Clippers have a completely blank slate in 2027 as of now, other than Zubac and a couple guys on their rookie scale deals, and that pick is in 2028. And yeah, I mean, I would have to see it, if they put Kawhi's cap hit on the books through 2027 and they could recoup some of the money that he got from aspiration. There's just no way. I think that the disaster potential for the Clippers is so high that it would have to be a true difference maker. If it was Paul George and the 2028 pick for a younger star who's on a cheaper contract, maybe. But I don't know.
Lowry Market and Aaron Younger.
That was the name that I don't know that I would do. I don't think that Lowry's the bar. I think it would have to be higher than that. I'd rather just eat the George contract and keep, because that, I mean, look, it might not work out. It might end up being a mid to late first round pick, but it's fully unprotected. It has some jackpot upside.
So that's not, I don't even see a good team. That would be a metal ball. Doesn't make any sense for you there. Yeah, it is a crown jewel. I'm just trying to think of a good player that would try, could it make you think about moving it right now? That's not too outside their own possibility. And then also a lot of the ones that are springing to mind for me are just big men, and that's not what you're going to be looking for here.
Jimmy Butler, or Paul George in the pick for Jimmy Butler.
Really?
Mate, I wouldn't do it. I'd rather, again, just eat the extra year.
No, I think for an aging star, that makes total sense. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that either. What about still big Anthony Davis? Pair Anthony Davis with Joel Embiid?
No. Oh yeah, well, just what they need. Another injury-prone big man. That sounds great.
What about? I don't know why they were tripping, but Memphis tears it down. Jaren Jackson Jr. Is that get you thinking?
No. I mean, you would want another wing, if anything, and that
Trey Murphy in New Orleans.
Okay, now we're talking.
Okay.
Now we're talking.
I don't think they're going to trade him. I think he's the single most important player in the building, right?
One would hope, but yeah.
Okay, what if the Knicks decide to pivot? Does OG still do it for you? Or you want Mikal Bridges back? You guys to kind of complete the cycle, he'll finally suit up?
The return of Mikal Bridges. I would love Mikal Bridges back, but
No, I would not. Not until we had clarity. Once we have clarity, that pick might be up for grabs, but not until we know the scope of what Adam Silver is about to do to that team.
So, Mike and Sam, can I get one additional Suns prediction from you for this coming season? You could take it wherever you want, and I will let Mike start.
Oh, one additional prediction for the Suns. I will say I don't think they're going to have any stories about the team being unhappy with the coach this year for the first time in 4 years. So that's my prediction. I think there's a chance that this coach survives, and it's not just another guy who's fired by the end of the season. I think there's a chance that people are talking about Jordan Ott in a really positive way at some point of this season. So that's going to be my prediction. It's Jordan Ott related.
I'll go ahead and, I mean, they're very much just a team in flux. We all know that. So I'll go ahead and say that, they've made a lot of moves at this point, but they're not done. I think there's going to be some movement here at the deadline, probably in a boring way, though. Not in like an exciting for, this would suck for me, but for other people, they hear that and say, oh, Devin Booker's on the trade block. Like, Devin Booker's not on the trade block, but there might be a Royce O'Neal deal. There might be a Grayson Allen deal. There might be something interesting, mildly interesting that happens in February, for sure.
They are, as we record this, like $273,000 into the tax, and they are absolutely not staying there. So I would echo that there's going to be some type of trade, even if it's super, super tiny.
It's as simple as just Butler or Jordan Goodwin being waived, too. So one of those two guys is probably not going to be on the roster at some point this season.
Do they have? I thought they only had 14 players, or maybe I miscounted. Yeah,
I think they're going to go into the season with 14 players. That's my anticipation, because that's the easiest way. Unless they make a move, just as you're saying, Dan. But the easiest way for them to get under the tax, I believe, is if they just don't roster all 15, which they did last year.
They rostered. What they roster last year?
14 players. Yeah.
I'll start with you for this one, Tara. Could I get one additional prediction about this team for this season? You could take it wherever you want.
I'll just reiterate what I've been saying this whole time is I think Scoot is going to show growth. He's going to respond to the pressure well, and he's going to show growth.
How about you, Rose? Do you have any other predictions for this team?
I think Timani stays hot from three. A lot of people have wondered whether that's real, because it was such a huge leap. I think he stays hot from three. I think he's somebody, when I see him put his nose down, he's somebody who wants it bad. Like he's working hard. And so I think that he stays hot from three, and he also adds something else really surprising to his game this year that we don't even know what it is yet.
You know what's funny is I had more questions about like, oh, is he just going to shoot 5 threes or more a game? I had more questions about him like doubling up on the volume relative to the efficiency. So like, I don't even know how big of a question that is still for me, but I don't want to say I think he's a caps lock shooter, but I just didn't look at what was he at, 37.5? Yeah. I didn't look at that and was like, oh, for some reason it was the volume that stood out to me. And I was just like, huh. So I'm going to be curious to see if he even has room to like, can we get him over 5 attempts per game? Because again, if he's making them even at a league average clip, that helps open up the floor for all their other guys. My final question to you would be, can I get one additional Kings prediction from you? You could take it wherever you would like.
Ooh. One additional Kings prediction. I will predict that they almost make a big trade at the deadline. We'll hear all about
a buyer or a seller. We'll hear all.
Yeah, we'll hear all about the trade that they're working on, and then it won't happen. So
they'll pivot.
That'd be my prediction.
Will it be as a buyer or a seller that we'll hear about?
Oh, definitely. I mean, both. They'll be trying to get off of their contracts they don't like for someone they can't get without giving up anything else. So,
sounds about right. So, Noah, finally, could I get one other Spurs prediction from you for this coming season? It could be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, well, I look at the roster, and there just seem to be like a lot of expendable contracts, and maybe they're saving up for a big free agency move. San Antonio has never been a free agency destination. Perhaps
nobody's
that changes.
A free agency destination anymore because free agency doesn't even happen.
Yeah.
It feels like, yeah.
Yeah, like I kind of feel like maybe this can be my bold prediction. I don't even know that this is going to happen, but with Jake Fisher kind of reporting that they were inquiring about Trey Murphy III, like I feel like they have the ammo to go get a player. Who is that player?
I don't know. But if someone is up on the market, and someone who they think can legitimately push their playoff hopes and their playoff, maybe even title aspirations, whatever, a little bit further, I would not be surprised if the Spurs just kind of like unloaded the chamber and were like, here are some assets, because they can't hold on to all their picks forever. And look, this is kind of treading old territory, old ground with the Spurs, but like so many players with the Spurs have come through here and they're like, oh, they might get traded. Like they don't have a future in San Antonio. And then it's like, nope, they just waste away until they're no longer useful. And now they have no trade value. And all right, see you later. So I think the Spurs would be wise to capitalize on trade values of guys. And again, there's a lot of overlap skill-wise, positional-wise. Like I think it would make sense for them to go trade for someone. And that's, I mean, every fan feels that way. It's like they got to go trade for a superstar. But I think the Spurs are particularly suited to go make a trade if something like that was to fall in their laps.
I'd agree with you. And look, at the same thing you're saying about players applies to picks. Like those Atlanta Hawks selections 18 months ago or 12 months ago looked like crown jewels. Now it's what they did this offseason. They don't look as hot. Is there so if you're looking from the Spurs, I think Trey Murphy would be a great fit, but is there an archetypal player or even a position that, okay, you have your 1 and your 5 locked down in Fox and Wemby, like where are you, if you want them or not want them, if they're making a big trade, what type of player is the priority to acquire?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That is a tough question. I really like Trey Murphy. I think he's kind of the archetype that you should be looking for, a guy who's a bigger wing, not necessarily like the best self-creator, but like can take advantage of mismatches, is an elite spot-up shooter, is an elite movement shooter, plus defender, and a guy who is not just a shooter. Like I think we think of him mostly as a shooter, but he's a great athlete too. Like he's got pop. He can get off the floor. Good cutter as well. Like a guy who doesn't necessarily need the ball in his hands. Like one of the guys who I really liked for the Spurs before the trade happened with the Nuggets was Cam Johnson. I really like Cam Johnson. Yeah. I think a guy like that, like a Michael Porter Jr. even, like those kind of guys, like those are the kind of guys that I would be looking for. Not someone who needs the ball in their hands, not someone who you're asking to go get a shot, because the Spurs have quite a few of those guys right now. Yeah. At that guard position at least. I'm looking for a bigger wing like that.
What if, I have to ask, what if one of Giannis or Anthony Davis becomes available? Players that intrigue you as a Spurs fan?
Yeah, I mean, Giannis would definitely intrigue me. Anthony Davis, not as much, just given the injury history, given the age. And I know Giannis is no longer like super young anymore. Like I think he's 30 now. But Giannis is still, for the most part, you can count on him to be healthy pretty much all season. He doesn't miss a ton of games. And even though it might be, you'd have to figure out how to make it work with spacing wise for sure. I don't know that you could pass up on a generational talent who is still very much in the center of his prime. So I would be very much interested in Giannis.
I figured you would be. I was just curious because we harped on the spacing, but I think that's one of the values of Wemby, where you might get, if some people want him to take fewer threes, the fact that he can play offense the way that he has so far, you can slot literally anybody next to him in the front court, and that's just hugely valuable.
Also, could you imagine like a Wemby Giannis pick and roll, or a Giannis Wemby pick and roll? Like that would be insane. Like that would be like just batshit. That would be crazy. And that'd be something I'd be there for.
Yeah, I mean, who would, aside from Bucks fans, who wouldn't, right? So, could I get one additional Raptors prediction from you for this season? Could be whatever you want it to be.
Oh, I made this one on our awards draft. Brandon Ingram, Clutch Player of the Year. I think it's actually not that bad because they need all the possessions at the end of games to go to one place. And I think they're a grimy team that's going to play in a lot of close games. I think Brandon Ingram is going to have plenty of volume to try and win this award. And those are the guys who win it, are the guys who get the volume. So that would be a fun one.
And he is just because I think some people, when you look at name recognition or importance to the team's future, it's, well, why isn't Scotty? But it's just Brandon Ingram's game that's the type of guy you go to down
exactly
the close ones.
Yep. That would be a fun one.
That's a Clutch Player of the Year prediction, like before the regular season even starts. I respect that. Can I get one additional prediction from you about the Jazz for this coming season. You could take it wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of worries about this Walker Kessler thing. And I mean, I guess like there's no way that anyone can really like predict how that's going to end up, right? But like I guess my prediction would just be like that I don't think that he's going to be on the Jazz. Whether that's going to be like through a trade or after like RFA opens. I just think that it's just not going to end the way that the Jazz want it to.
That's a good prediction. You just so rarely see guys who are worth a damn on their rookie scales get moved like that. Like it's
right.
Especially when they're like 2 or 3 years deep into their tenure with the team. It's not like like they were drafted and got immediately traded for a star or something. But he's been in like trade rumors since basically it feels like almost day one at this point, to where it's like, oh well, the Lakers give up 2 first-round picks for Walker Kessler. It's like the question everybody goes back to.
Well, like I think that like once we actually start to get to February, right? Like the Jazz are gonna have the decision that the Jazz are gonna have to make is like, okay, what offers are we willing to match up to? Like they're gonna have to decide on like what the level is that they're willing to go to, just in case someone offers more than they think is actually gonna come in. Or do we want to like move now and take whatever assets we can get out of this situation? Like, because there is risk here for the Jazz. And so it feels like in order to like mitigate some of the risk that they might just have to like take a leap early.
Man, if I were them, I would keep him. I just don't.
Yeah, I absolutely would too.
Such a dud.
Yeah.
That who's come, and you have some other centers that might be available that teams will go after, but they all seem scared. The last offer sheet, I don't know if you remember this, to actually go out and restricted free agency was when the Jazz did it to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, Paul Reed. Yeah.
And so I'd probably let it ride. But to your point, like there is risk. Like if someone comes in with an offer, or if they try to, like look at what happened this year with those 4 guys, how those negotiations unfolded. Do the Jazz have the goodwill built up with Walker Kessler at this point to navigate that? When you look at the quote that he had on media day,
and I don't think they do. I don't think that there's like goodwill there. When like I think that Walker Kessler loves Will Hardy. I think that Walker Kessler loves his teammates, and I think that there is a lot of love lost between Walker Kessler, his camp, and the Jazz front office. And so like, where is the goodwill there? Like, do the Jazz actually have any goodwill leverage that they can lean on at this point? And I'm not really sure. And then, I mean, this is a question like I've been asking everyone when I talk to them about like the Jazz roster is how much would you pay Walker Kessler per year?
I probably wouldn't flinch like up until like 27, 28 million. I'm not flinching.
Okay. And like, so if you're the Jazz and someone comes in and offers like 32, 34, are you willing to match that?
Well, yeah, the problem is that if you can't just let him walk for nothing. So yeah, you would. If like you let him get the RFA and do that.
And then at that point, it's like, why didn't you sign something now? Right? Like
I'd be curious what he'd be willing to sign for now, because I have to think it wasn't like, I know his cap hold is what, like 14.5 million or whatever it is. I think if he was going to accept like 20, it would probably be a done deal by now.
It would.
So he's probably looking for like what you like close to 30.
Yeah, and so then I wonder like, is there a team out there that's going to be willing to go upwards of that because their needs are so great?
I mean, the Hornets like just don't even have a center right now, but there's also like Mitchell Robinson, Kristaps Porzingis, Jalen Duren's also a free agent. Mark Williams doesn't really play, so he probably shouldn't count. Robert Williams doesn't really play. I like the Jazz's best bet might be if Jalen Duren comes to an agreement with Detroit, and it's like a very modest number, and then like that might give Walker Kessler like a window into like what he can expect when you get to the market, because I don't know these bigs who aren't, I don't want to say the focal point of your offense, but aren't supposed to be like your best or second best player on the team. I don't know which teams are going to come in like noticeably above the mid-level exception.
It's not even like best or second best player, like most paid or second most paid, right?
It's like there's certain teams in a situation to where that's what makes his case so tough. But he doesn't, like, when I saw the quote from either your story or your Skeet on it, I was just like, I didn't see him say it. Did it like sound as bad as it looked on?
It sounded worse than it looked on the screen. Yeah, he was like, listen, I don't want to talk about this past today. I don't want it to be a distraction for the team. I don't want to distract me. But like, that being said, I am frustrated. And like, he kind of stumbled around some words after that and was like, you know, if it gets done, whatever, I'm frustrated.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was like, I think that there, and I think it was said with purpose. I don't think that like he was in the moment reacting to that question. I think that prior to media day, he knew the question was going to be asked, and he purposefully wanted everyone to know that he was not happy.
I also think, despite his request, that it's probably going to come up again. That's my hot take. I think it might come up again.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I can't imagine that all of us reporters are going to be like, you know what? That's a good point. No thanks. Don't need to know how you're feeling about this right now. Yeah. So,
can I get one additional Wizards prediction from you, Matt Moderno? It could be anything that you want. Take this wherever you want to go.
Kind of already said it. I'm really expecting a Keyshawn George bump. That to me feels like a guy that's gonna have enough opportunity, and the skill set is there of somebody that like they will give him chances as a guy who can pass, dribble, shoot, and will put in effort defensively and get a bunch of steals and some runouts that'll kind of maybe sneak his way up into more points per game than people think. And if Coulibaly can stay healthy and do what I think he can do, like if he were in, like, could he make second team all defense at the end of the year conversations at least, that wouldn't shock me either.
I do wonder, might be overthinking it, but when you mentioned Keyshawn George, how we feel about Alex Sarr, Coulibaly, there's like a chance that they're kind of like the way Portland last year, like the script flipped for them defensively, and they were all of a sudden like one of the best defenses in the league for a really long period. Does that team have this potential, or is it just they at least had Klingon and Kamara is a friggin' beast? But I mean, Kamara got all defense consideration. If Coulibaly gets it, I wonder if this team has that. Portland does have a lot more size when you're looking at like what they were running with their big man rotation, though.
I think
Jeremy Grant can't rebound though, and he played a lot of minutes, so there's that too.
Yeah, you had Denny out there and things like that too, and like there's just a few more guys I think that are ahead of where those guys are. And the Wizards, I could see that 2 seasons from now when they put a few more pieces on their roster to like not even try to take that jump. They're just ready to do it. So this year, I just don't think this front office will let them. I think they know like the 2026 draft is just like objectively going to be better than the 2027 draft. And they don't want to be bad again in 2027. So like just fully commit to being bad this year, no matter what. Get your top 3 or 4 guy, and then, like we were talking about at the beginning, kind of then go all in, you know, from seasons after that.